You're standing beside the clean remains of a hippopotamus in East Africa, 1.5 million years before the present. Crocodiles wait near the water, large cats hide in the grass, and the nearest hardware store will not open for ages. The leg bone fragment is thick, heavy, and longer than your forearm. To most animals, it is merely a leftover. But you do not see a leftover. You see raw material and perhaps an object that does not exist yet. You place the bone on the ground, choose a hammerstone, and strike one edge with deliberate force. You turn the fragment, inspect the fracture, and strike again. This is not rage. The bone has done nothing personally offensive. Large flakes establish the form. Smaller removals refine the edge. Each blow responds to the one that came before. A point appears at one end, a rounded edge at the other, and a deep notch along the side. The finished shape feels repeatable, as though a picture of it was already waiting inside your mind. Archaeologists found 27 shaped bones here. They look powerful, even weapon-like, but nobody knows their exact purpose or maker. Forget the deep cave, woolly mammoth, and dramatic snowstorm. You are nowhere near Ice Age Europe. You stand at Olduvai Gorge in northern Tanzania, beside an ancient plain shaped repeatedly by water, sand, and silt. Seasonal water spreads across the ground. Fish move below the surface, while crocodiles wait patiently near the edge. Hippos are common enough to provide two valuable resources: food and bones, built like prehistoric construction materials. Unfortunately, every scavenger can see the same opportunity, and several have stronger jaws and no respect for cues. Survival begins with evidence. A footprint tells you who passed, and a bent branch tells you how recently. A carcass means food, danger, and a rapidly closing window. You must decide before another animal decides for you. Around you, hominins already shape stone expertly. The future layer will contain thousands upon thousands of their artifacts. Stone technology is old here. The new thought is simple. Perhaps its rules can shape this enormous bone too. Selected bones, repeated blows, and planned edges turn this place from a lucky accident into a workshop without walls. Stone already dominates your technological world. It cuts, scrapes, pounds, and preserves every mistake for future archaeologists. You know which angle releases a flake and how much force to use, even without words for either concept. So why spend time on bone when stone is familiar, reliable, and scattered across the landscape? Stone can be sharp and durable. Bone can be long, heavy, tough, and naturally shaped for jobs stone handles poorly. Bone has one obvious advantage. The raw material occasionally arrives wrapped inside several tons of animal. Common animal bones fill the site, but the toolmakers do not select raw material in the same proportions. Elephant remains are rare in the assemblage, yet identifiable elephant bone appears unusually often among the shaped tools. That pattern is not casual collecting. Someone understands that certain species and skeletal parts perform better. Elephant and hippofemora, tibiae and humeri offer thick walls, great mass, and enough strength for repeated shaping. No anatomy chart is required. Experience teaches what fractures well, what splinters, and which enormous leg deserves promotion. Now jump forward 1.5 million years. The plain, animals, and toolmaker disappear beneath accumulated earth. An archaeologist lifts a fossil bone and asks, was this deliberately shaped, or did a crocodile simply chew it? Teeth bite them, feet crush them, water moves them, sediment presses them, and time opens new cracks. Nature produces suspicious objects constantly, then refuses to leave a helpful note explaining how they formed. Researchers cannot rely on resemblance alone. They compare scar number, placement, sequence, and fracture direction. Ordinary marrow fragments average roughly 2 flake scars. The shaped objects average nearly 13, far beyond a casual break. The scars form connected sequences along the side edges. Large removals create the form. Smaller ones regularize it. Gnawing, trampling, and natural fracture are tested seriously, but none explains the repeated shaping pattern across the collection. All 27 objects were excavated in place inside the same ancient horizon, not gathered loose from the surface. One strange bone might be chance. 27 modified bones with shared features reveal repeated behavior and possibly teaching. These are not needles, hooks, buttons, or decorations. They belong to a much heavier category of prehistoric equipment. Elephant bone examples reach roughly 22 to 38 centimeters long, with some nearly 15 centimeters wide. Hold one in your imagination. Its weight feels important, and its shaped edges make that weight feel intentional. To start a large piece, you place the limb bone on the ground and strike with a substantial hammerstone. Once the blank exists, a smaller hammerstone allows careful shaping. Power creates the form. Control improves it. 6 large tools repeat a striking design, one rounded end, one pointed end, and a deep notch near the middle. The notch may improve the grip while preserving the tool's central mass, although its exact role remains uncertain. Some tips carry fractures consistent with forceful pounding or compressing. The object clearly met serious resistance. Perhaps it worked wood, split tough material, acted as a wedge, or performed several jobs no modern category captures. Weapon-like is visually tempting. Systematic heavy-duty bone tool is the conclusion the evidence can actually defend. Now the mystery becomes personal. Who selected these bones, planned their form, and held the hammerstone? At 1.5 million years ago, more than one branch of the human family lived in East Africa. Homo erectus, or a closely related early Homo population, occupied the region and used increasingly complex stone technology. Paranthropus boisei also lived nearby, a strongly built hominin known for a powerful chewing system and large back teeth. Both belong to the human family tree. Neither is exactly modern human, and neither should be treated as simple. No hominin fossil lies beside the tools with a convenient message declaring ownership, so attribution remains uncertain. Early Homo seems an obvious candidate because of flexible technology, but a reasonable guess is still not proof. Archaeologists avoid assigning every sophisticated object automatically to the ancestor who looks most familiar to us. One species may have made them, several groups may have shared ideas, or the maker may remain undiscovered. The identity is missing. The intelligence remains in every selected bone, controlled strike, and repeated useful form. The most important discovery may not be one object. It may be an idea transferred from stone into bone. Choose a blank, find a striking surface, predict the fracture, and remove flakes in a controlled sequence. Bone has curves, changing thickness, outer cortex, and an inner surface shaped by a once-living body. A blow that works beautifully on quartzite may travel unpredictably through a curved hippofemur. The principle survives, but pressure, support, and strike position must change for the new material. Imagine knowing clay bowls, then attempting one in wood. The purpose may match while every useful movement changes. At Olduvai, early hominins seem to cross that bridge. They are not trapped inside a single recipe. Hard blows establish a blank. Smaller blows control an edge. The material changes, but the planning rule survives. This occurs as Oldowan traditions move toward early Acheulean technology, when larger, more planned forms begin appearing. Your toolkit is becoming a collection of possibilities, including the gloriously strange idea that a hippopotamus can become equipment. 6 large tools share the pointed end, rounded end, and deep notch. Repetition turns shape into evidence. To reproduce a form, you need more than powerful arms. You need a target for every removal. Before the tool exists in your hand, some version must already exist inside your expectations. Nobody needs spoken measurements or a ruler. Similar proportions can be learned through hands, eyes, and repeated comparison. An experienced maker selects the limb shaft, while a younger observer watches where the first blow will land. The bone fractures badly. Nobody celebrates, but everybody learns which support and angle should not be repeated. Another blank works. The successful sequence is repeated until familiar movements become a shared tradition. There are no attendance sheets, lectures, or students chewing the hammerstone, at least none preserved archaeologically. Consistent production suggests patterned behavior, and patterned behavior opens the possibility of knowledge shared between individuals. Each flake scar records what the maker understood about the previous blow and expected from the next one. If these objects worked so well, why does systematic bone napping not appear everywhere immediately afterward? Archaeology loves revealing an innovation, then hiding most of the following chapters beneath missing evidence. Comparable shaped bone traditions become common only much later, leaving an enormous silence after Olduvai. Unlike stone, bone can be destroyed by acidic soil, water, scavengers, and weather before anyone can excavate it. Subtle shaping may also be overlooked when excavators expect ordinary broken bone instead of technology. Innovation does not always march forward. People move, materials change, and useful local knowledge can disappear. Large bone implements may flourish only where massive carcasses provide suitable blanks and heavy tasks reward their use. Later hand axes may perform similar heavy work more efficiently, reducing the advantage of shaping enormous bones. This may be a brilliant regional experiment, successful for a time, then abandoned rather than inherited continuously. Sediment preserves the abandoned experiment until modern researchers finally learn which patterns reveal deliberate shaping. Return to the ancient plain at sunset. Water reflects between grasses, and a distant hippo calls across Olduvai. You turn the finished bone tool in your hands. Its point, curve, notch, and weight now feel intentionally connected. You do not know archaeology, Acheulean, or cognition. You only know this edge is better than before. The notch fits your grip, the weight is useful, and the form answers a problem whose name has disappeared. Perhaps someone showed you where to strike. Perhaps several broken blanks taught the same lesson more expensively. The tool is dropped or left behind. Sediment covers it. Landscapes change, and 1.5 million years pass. When human hands recover it again, the object asks, weapon, pounder, wedge, multipurpose tool, and who made it? Someone selected strong anatomy, predicted fractures, controlled repeated blows, and reproduced a planned form across multiple objects. They did not merely use what nature provided. They redesigned it by asking, what else could this become? The maker has no name, but the idea survived. Thanks for watching. Follow for the next strange discovery from human history.